plan to stay for very long tonight because I had some rather critical commentary on the last live stream. And let me just say a word about that. This is a live stream. Okay. So I think there was one person who said something like, you could have said everything that you said in just 45 minutes or so, which is probably true. But this is a live stream. By definition, it has the word stream in it. So what does that tell you? It's a stream of consciousness, okay? This is not where you're going to get a tightly edited script here. This is much more loose, far more spontaneous. So all I can tell you is that if it bothers you that I'm all over the place, okay, that's just how my mind works. Wait for the recording and just play the video back with a speed times 2. And you might have a more enjoyable experience that way. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. So how is everyone tonight? I hope you're all doing well. And I want to start off the live stream with this story right here that came out, I think yesterday. This came out either yesterday or day before yesterday. It's hot off the presses, okay? And it says Prince William good evening. Hello, Ella Parker 1203. Hello, Kitty Cats. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm not gonna stay too long, okay? Gonna try to keep it about an hour, all right? I was just saying that the last live stream I got some commentary where people said that I was all over the place and it took too long. No problem. Listen, I have stuff to do, so I don't mind just keeping it at an hour. Okay. All right. That being said, this is going to be our main topic of discussion tonight, and I have a few proposals as to what the purpose of this revelation is here. The fact that William has hired a crisis management expert, and this is the expert in question here. Her name is Liza Ravenscroft, either Lisa or Liza Ravenscroft. And she is from the firm Edelman. And Edelman is like a big PR firm, apparently. And I have some information on Edelman. I'm going to pull it up in a second here. We're going to talk about this a little bit. All right, this should come up now. So this is the firm that employs Miss Ravenscroft, who is apparently William's new PR fixer. Okay, she's they call her a bulletproof sunshine, and we can get into a whole discussion about what exactly that means. So it says Edelman is a global communications firm that partners with businesses and organizations to evolve, promote, and protect their brands and reputations. Over 6,000 people in more than 60 offices deliver communication strategies and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is their about page. Okay, this is their about page. Now, I want to show you a little something about, because I was doing a little bit of research on them because, the story dropped, and like everybody else, I'm just kind of curious as to why, this new crisis manager was hired. What's the crisis that's coming down the pike? What's coming down the pike? Something is about to be exposed. Some dam is about to burst. This is the impression that I get. Okay. So anyway, let me just go into Edelman a little bit before I move on to something else. So it says, as the world's largest PR firm. Now, is that true? I'm not into the PR industry, so I don't know if this is actually true or if this is just self promotion. All right, this is the AI mode here, giving us information about the communications firm that William has undertaken. It says, as the world's largest PR firm, Edelman's fees, because I wanted to know how much, what kind of money we're talking about here. Like how much are these people paying these PR people for? I'm sure it's always something that I find curious. How much are they paying for all this positive PR? All right, what's that, Naomi? Let's see. Has William finally comes to terms that his and Kate's popularity is in a downward spiral and has to hire a crisis manager? What is she going to tell him to grow the F up and stop cosplaying Harry? All right, I'm going to put your comment up here. So yeah, I think this is pretty much this is the general consensus, okay, that he has hired this PR firm in order to kind of what's the expression? I guess like to kind of give him like a soft landing when all hell breaks loose. Okay, this is most people's this is what most people surmise. All right, that this is the purpose. Now I don't know. We don't know really why exactly this PR firm was taken on. Okay, I'm going to take this down first, but let me just go over how much their fees are quickly. It says monthly retainers, standard engagements generally start at $25,000 per month. All right, so $25,000 per month, and this is what they start. This is how much they're starting at, which means that this lady here is getting paid way more than that. Okay, because this is just this is the how do you call it? This is the bargain basement rate. I'm pretty sure she's not getting the bargain basement rate, or maybe she is. I don't know. We know that the firm is notoriously cheap. So it says generally engagements generally start at $25,000 per month, depending on the scale. Some clients pay $100,000 per month, while major global accounts can exceed $1,000 per week. Project-based fees for one-time campaigns or product launches, fees typically range from $25,000 to $100,000, depending on the complexity. So we know that William is paying this public relations firm anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000. That's dollars now. I guess you could do the conversion from dollars to pounds. I don't know. How much is that? That's probably what, like maybe 23,000 pounds. I know my math is probably terrible here. So yeah. Either way, this is a lot of money. So whatever poo is about to hit the fan must be very, very messy. Because that's this looks like they're really, it's clean up on aisle 12 sort of scenario we're talking about here. Can't wait for hell to break loose for William, as I believe something big is. Yes, exactly, Ella Parker. That's exactly what I think too. I think something big is coming on the pipeline. And I'm going to share with you another article in a little bit, but I was accused of being all over the place. So let me try and keep it as organized as possible so that I don't confuse everybody. So I'll share that article, which I think is crucial to this story. I'll share that with you in a little bit. All right. So just for reference, this is what we're talking about here, and it's going to load in a second. The helicopter picture, right? The helicopter picture. This is kind of, I think what most people surmise has precipitated the need to hire a PR fixer. The fact that this video came out with the kids coming down a helicopter and Williams there. Now, somebody had asked in the last live stream, in the recording, the comments in the recording, somebody asked me if William was actually on the helicopter with them. And I have to say, I'm not sure if he was or not. I have to, to kind of get that out there. I'm not sure if he was on the helicopter with them. I'm thinking he wasn't, that he was probably waiting on the ground, but it's not really clear. It's not really clear because you kind of, as a matter of fact, you know what? Why don't we pull it up? All right, I'm going to find it here in a second. I think it's a very important question. And I'll tell you why I think it's an important question, because that would mean that William is skirting the rules with regard to traveling with the air. Let me take this up. We don't need the song. All right, so here it is. I'm going to play it again. So let's see. Does it look like William came off the helicopter too? It's not really clear. Yeah, 25,000 sounds lowball, but it's somewhere between 25,000 and 100,000. So we don't, I doubt she's getting only a 25,000. Before year 2010, a certain well-known New Yorker city was paying 60,000 a month for a crisis communication in addition to whatever other legal fees to defend himself via lawsuit. Yes, that is true. Now, I'm not sure which New Yorker you're talking about, but I kind of have suspect who it might be. So anyway, yes. So we know that paying this kind of money is nothing to people who have this kind of money. Okay, it's nothing for them to pay somebody $100,000 a month to clean things up for them, to make things go away in the press, so to speak. So yeah, let's see, if you know. I'm not sure if we're thinking the same person, but anyway, let's move on. So yeah, now the reason why I bring this up about William possibly traveling with them on the helicopter as opposed to him waiting for them on the ground, it's important because we know that Charles has previously admonished William for, and I'm going to pull up that story here. Is this the one? No. Charles has previously admonished William for flying in the helicopter with the air. Okay. And it looks like, William just wants to do his own thing. William doesn't care. Let me see. Yeah, this is one blurb for that story here. It's just a headline, but it pretty much kind of speaks to what I'm talking about here. Prince William and Prince George appear to be swerving royal safety rule, and this is not long ago, right? This is just last week, which tells me that it's possible that William was on the chopper with the kids. All right, and Charles has spoken to him about this before. I'm gonna find this the picture right here. There it is. Yeah, these two. King Charles has raised concerns about Prince William's use of royal family's helicopter. And this came out a couple of years ago. And so we know that Charles has been telling William from as far back as a couple of years now to cut the crap traveling in the same helicopter, because look, God forbid anything happens, right? But this is a helicopter we're talking about here. Things can happen, okay? I certainly I do not wish for anything to happen, obviously, but you're flying around on a helicopter, things can happen. And William seems hell bent on just ignoring Charles. And I came across this piece that came out last year by the royalist Tom Sykes, where it says King Charles, fearing King Harry and Queen Meghan, urged William to abandon family helicopter flights. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. So, he keeps traveling with George and Charlotte, right? And obviously I touched on this the last live stream, that it's obvious that, okay, they're his favorites. He doesn't want to really deal with Louis, and God forbid something happens, Louis is always left behind. So, we're probably looking at a King Louis, right? Because if he's always in the helicopter with the two older, the heir and the next in line, the runner up to the heir, if all three of them go down in a helicopter, then we're looking at King Louis, right? And something tells me that this is not what William wants. All right. And what we certainly know what William doesn't want. William does not want King Harry and Queen Meghan. William definitely doesn't want that, right? So I think it speaks a lot to William's arrogance. He doesn't regard anything his father says. He doesn't care. He just wants to do his own thing. And it's also a kind of his hubris and his stupidity as well. You're not invincible. Things can happen. Why are you taking that chance? Why are you taking this chance? And also, someone left a comment on one of the shorts that I had cut from the last live stream too. And the person shared a video with me that kind of, it was a short video. It just kind of mentions the general cost of flying by helicopter. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap. Okay. I think I saw somewhere where it says that it costs the British taxpayer up to £17,000 every time they get into a helicopter. The video that this commenter shared with me was so eye-opening. I mean, it's really, really expensive to fly around in a helicopter all the time. And William treats it like it's his personal Uber, And why not? I mean, is he even paying for it? This is obviously the taxpayers that are paying for it. So why should he care? All right, I'm going to read a couple of comments before I move on here. William and his ex-colleague are even more childish than Charles is. Okay. Which ex-colleague are we talking about here, kitty cats? I feel like there are a few. There are a few. The Queen tried telling William to stop flying Kate and the kids by helicopter everywhere. Did he listen to his commander-in-chief, QE2? No. Why would he listen to Charles? Yes, exactly. Exactly my point. And I feel like he's taking a big risk here. But this is just William. This just shows you, oh, okay. Oh, you were being facetious. All right, kitty cats. You were being facetious. You meant Kate. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, like, why does he think that he is so invincible? Like nothing can happen to him, I think it really shows how irresponsible he is and how arrogant he is that he continues to do this. Anyway, and I don't know. I guess Kate can't say anything about it because she's powerless. She has no power. All right. So what else am I going to talk about here? Already I'm losing my train of thought. I'm going off the rails. I want to go back to the PR firm thing a little bit. I kind of got sidetracked with a helicopter. I was going to talk about it. I just didn't know if I was going to talk about it now. So I can scratch it off of the list. So I'm going to remove this. And I want to get back into the PR firm a little bit and this lady here that he just hired. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Because I here's her LinkedIn profile, and there's a few things about her that I find interesting. So her name is Liza, either Lisa or Liza Ravenscroft, and it shows the firm that she belongs to, Edelman. She's a graduate of City University, London. All right, and then there's a testimonial for her here, which I'm going to pull up right now, just to give you an idea of who this person is and what her PR strategy might be. All right, I think it would be interesting to know what her PR strategy is going to be. Is it going to be more Sussex bashing, for instance, right? Because so far, we know that that's their PR strategy, right? I mean, we can all agree on that. Their PR strategy is to just deflect any and all negative attention onto the Sussexes. And I'm not sure if that strategy has been working. I think it's been working for some people, because there are some people who really, really are brainwashed by the press. All right, so this is just another of the headlines here. Prince William hires crisis manager described as bulletproof sunshine by her old boss, as Andrew and Harry saga. Now, okay, why do they put exactly, kitty cats, bashing the Sussexes while copying them? Exactly, the hypocrites. So first of all, let's look at this phrase here, bulletproof sunshine. Now, what does that mean? Bulletproof sunshine. What does that mean? So for me, I interpret that to mean that she is able to convey a picture of all is well, nothing to see here, everything is fine and dandy, everything is just a field of tulips, bulletproof sunshine. Like she's able to just put up a screen masking what's going on behind the scenes. This is her specialty, apparently. I mean, that's what I interpret the phrase bulletproof sunshine to mean. So if you have a different interpretation, please feel free to share it. And I want to share a little bit about what is said about her here and what's said on her LinkedIn page, because I'm certainly, if I try to click on her LinkedIn page, you know what happens. LinkedIn is like the ninth circle of hell, right? It's hard to get in, and it's hard to get out of it. So I don't mess with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is too traumatizing for me. All right, so it says Prince William has hired a crisis management expert as the royal family continues to wrestle with the fallout from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's association with pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Liza Ravenscroft, described as bulletproof sunshine by a former boss, has been recruited from the blue chip communications firm Edelman, where she works arm in arm with big names facing into their toughest times. That description could apply to William as the Andrew saga rumbles on, while the monarchy also deals with dramas surrounding Prince Harry and the cancer treatments undertaken by both the King and Princess of Wales. Okay, so now this whole business about much prefer your business to this life. Here we go again. Okay, I already explained in the beginning of this live stream that this is a live stream. It has the word stream in it. This is a stream of consciousness, okay? Fine, I understand you prefer the videos. these are not the videos. If you want to see those videos, you have to wait a little bit longer because those take a longer time to produce. All right. This is a whole different animal here. This is a live stream. If it's not your cup of tea, I understand and I wish you well. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. Please stop trying to bring in negativity in here about, oh, you don't like the rambling and blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is me. This is me. This is who I am. I ramble. Okay. This is me. All right, I'm just, let me just continue here. So anyway, that description could apply to William as, now, what I want to say about this is that they're using Andrew and Harry kind of like to whitewash the reason why they're hiring this woman, okay? And I know that sounds oxymoronic because I don't see, how can Andrew whitewash anything, right? But I think it's a clever use of him. It's a clever way to use him because Andrew is damaged goods now. Okay, they can do whatever they want. They can use Andrew to shield them as much as they want now. Because he's cooked. There's no coming back for Andrew, and he knows it. His life, it's done for him. There's no redemption for him because he's already thoroughly proven himself to be a rotten and despicable person. So he's an easy mark in the family for them to use. So I don't know if Andrew is the real, what I'm trying to say is that they're just using his name. They're just using him to deflect from the real reason why they're hiring this woman. And the reason why I say that is, why the hell are they putting Harry's name in here? Harry's saga, Andrew and Harry's sagas. This is just I find this so infuriating. They continually try to lump in Harry with Andrew. This is something they've been doing for a while now, trying to obliquely paint a picture in the public's minds or in people's minds that somehow Harry is involved with Andrew and the Epstein situation, right? This is what they're trying to do. This is just another attempt to taint Harry, because what the hell is Harry's name doing here? What is his name doing? Harry's name has nothing to do with Harry has nothing to do with William and Kate's marital crisis. Okay. If that's the reason why they're hiring this woman, we don't know. Anyway, all right, let me go to the comments a little bit. Y'all are new to live streams. I was on YouTube back in the days of 10-hour panels or all-nighters when the YouTuber dozes off to sleep and leaves the stream turned on and a panel full of people. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. And that's true. I have seen some live streams where, the person goes to go make themselves a sandwich or something and leaves the viewers just hanging there. Yeah, that's hilarious, kitty cats. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. So what else? There was something else I wanted to share about this. There's actually a lot more I want to talk about with this Edelman thing. All right, I'm going to find, let's see, is this the thing where they're talking about her? All right, we're going to see it here. Hold on. All right, this is a testimonial on her LinkedIn page. So I just wanted to read this real quick, just to give you an idea of what type of person this Liza, what's her name? Ravenscroft. Liza Ravenscroft. Even her name sounds like one of those RPG type names, Ravenscroft. Sounds very Game of Thrones. I don't know. All right. Liza is my go-to guru, advisor, and occasional critic for tricky PR and public positioning for sustainability work. I trust her gut on what works and am astonished by her ability to grasp the key problems and find solutions, irrespective. Is irrespective a real word? Irrespective of if the issue is climate policy, circular economy related, or a social justice imperative, I recommend Liza to anyone navigating the tricky issues of our time, not least because she manages to do always with a smile. Okay, so this is like the only testimonial that they have for her here. So I'm not sure if how experienced this lady is, but she was. Now here's the thing. She was recommended to Kensington Palace by this person here through Charles and Camilla. Okay, I'm gonna put it up. Okay, I have to take something down because I've got too much stuff up here now. Let me try again. Here he is. Okay, so what you need to understand is that this firm, Edelman, they were hired initially by Charles and Camilla. This is Charles and Camilla's PR firm here, Edelman. All right. So now this is the guy here who was the PR person for Charles and Camilla, Julian Payne, and he recommended Liza. He recommended. Let's get Liza back up here. He was the one that recommended Liza here, right? It says, meanwhile, Prince Harry, okay, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why they're talking about Prince Harry. I don't know why they always have to include, they're so obsessed with Prince Harry, like they cannot leave him alone, okay? Just using him again to deflect, right? Miss Ravenscroft, who previously held roles at British Airways and Marriott Hotels, says on the CV that a former boss described her as bulletproof sunshine and that she's a seasoned media handler who believes in the power of strong relationships to defend and charm in equal measure. Okay, so she was recommended by this guy, and this is Charles and Camilla's PR person. So what that tells me is that Charles is the one who has basically looked at what's happened in the last few days, right? The whole media maelstrom of the helicopter video with the kids, him and the kids being by themselves, where it's obvious that it's a custodial handoff, right? And the big brouhaha that ensued as a result of that, that they could not ignore. And then, of course, they had the impromptu visit that Kate wasn't supposed to be at the very next day at Charing Cross. And so I think Charles is like, look, you're fucking up. All right. I think that this is what Charles is thinking. I think he's sat, or maybe he called up William, because I doubt that they see each other very much, right? He's called up William and he said to William, listen, I'm going to recommend someone for you because you need to fix your shit. Everyone is talking about you. You know, you're bringing down the monarchy. You're bringing down what's left of the monarchy. We're hanging on for dear life. You know, half the public thinks that we're useless parasites, and you're not making things any better with your flying around on the helicopter like it's your personal Lyft driver. Okay, so this is the guy who recommended Liza to Kensington Palace, to William. Now the question is why? Why was this is what we're gathered here tonight to discuss? Why is it that this PR firm was recommended to William to engage, which he hasn't engaged apparently, to the tune of anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000 per week, per month, we don't know. We don't know. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to comments a little bit here. It's more distraction from the divorce rumors. And Andrew is not willing. You know what? This is a very good point. Yeah, it's more a distraction from the divorce rumors, and Andrew is not William's problem. It's Charles and Harry is not a problem, so it's another distraction. That's a very good point, because although the press claims, let me bring up back the headline there. Right. That's why I said this is a kind of very sly kind of whitewashing, even though it's kind of oxymoronic, because what's his face? Andrew cannot whitewash anything, right? Okay, why is this not coming on? All right, let me try to take down another picture. Come on, why are you not coming on? All right, let me try again. Okay, so yeah, exactly. All right, I have to take something down here. Let me take this down. I'm going to take this one down. Put this back up here. Maybe it will come up now. Why is it so slow? All right, it's just being slow. It's just taking a long time to load for some reason. It won't come off of this picture. All right. Yeah. So they're trying to make it look like as if it's about Andrew, but it's really about the divorce. But I'm going to tell you something. I think it might be about Andrew in a certain sort of way, and I'm going to share with you an article that I found, that I came across, that kind of, I feel like the article kind of went unnoticed a little bit. If I don't know why this is. All right, I'm going to take this off because for some reason my other pictures are not loading. Let's see if this one will load. All right, let me take this off. Okay, there we go. Prince William hires crisis manager, blah, 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 right? Why are they hiring? Sorry about my microphone. Yeah, I have a loose cable that's. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. All right, I think you can hear me now. All right. Yeah, I think they're just using Andrew here. Um Look, he's earned it. I'm certainly not going to give him any passes here, but it's possible that they're just using him here. But I'm going to share something with you that I came across the other day. Oh, where is it? So I have to take something down. I'm going to take this down. Going to take this one down. That Sykes weirdo had a very acute take on the indecision of Brooklyn. All right. So a couple things about the Yorks that I want to talk about, and that I think is crucial to our discussion tonight, by the way. So let me find that article for you. Which is the one now? Okay, hold on. It's a couple of them. It's both Andrew and what's her face? Sarah. That I really think is crucial to what our discussion tonight. Let me see if this is the one. Performative embrace of Meghan wedding engagement was to distract from Andrew. They're even dragging the Sussexes into the Beckham debacle. Son going no contact with his parents and keep including images of H&M on content about Beckham family drama. Yeah, I don't know why they're trying to drag Harry and Meghan into that. I have no idea why they're trying to do that. All right, I'm going to, what is it? Is this the one? This thing is acting up tonight. Oh no. All right, let me remove this and see if this will work. Okay, here we go. It's acting really funny tonight. Oh no, this is not the this is not the one. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find this. I had it on here. Just hang tight. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, that's not the one. That's not the one. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the story right here. You're gonna see it right now. All right, this is acting weird tonight. Why is this acting so weird tonight? Okay, here we go. This is a story. Andrew has reportedly turned his wrath on perfect villain Kate after being forced out of the royal family. He sees her as poison. Now, this article just kind of flashed by, and I think it's very, very telling, and I'm going to tell you why. It looks like Andrew feels that William and Kate have thrown him under the bus somehow, right? Because I think at some point he had the impression that he was back in their good books, that they were cool with him. And we know this because they were seen going to church together. Do you remember that? I'm going to pull that up right now. They were seen going to church together. And I'm going to share another article with you too. Let's see if this is going to come up. Yeah, it's just very slow. Here they are in the car going to church together, right? This was, I think, 2023 or 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong. This was around, I think this might have been around 2023, 2024, sometime around that time, right? And this was after it was revealed that he was involved with Epstein and the whole thing broke out, and the Newsnight interview and all that. And, we're always seeing these articles about how Kate is so disgusted by Andrew and doesn't want him near her and doesn't want him living close to them in Forest Lodge, what's the name of the place? Royal Lodge, and how she's leading the charge. She's the one leading the charge to banish Andrew. You've seen those articles, right? You've seen all those articles trying to make out like she is the heroine here, and in the same breath, they're going to say, oh, no, it's all William. William is the one. I saw one report even saying it's Camilla. So they're all trying to take credit for excommunicating Andrew, right? They're all trying to take credit for that. Now, this is a picture here of them going to church together. Does Kate look distressed about Andrew here to you? She doesn't look that distressed about him here. I mean, why is he in the car with them? Was he there just following orders from Charles? I don't think so. I think that they're real chummy. That's what I think, because Andrew is such a nasty and despicable person. I can see them gossiping about Harry and Meghan and how Harry and Meghan are, making fun of them and laughing behind their. I can see all three of them doing that, right? So when they're slagging off on the Sussexes, I'm sure they're all nice and cozy and buddy with Andrew, but in public they want to act like, no, we don't know him. We don't know him. He's icky. They're such hypocrites. I'm sure you remember this video here. I'm going to show this video to you. I'm going to turn down I'm going to make it mute. Here it is. Oh, here we go. Add to stage. Can you see it? Why is it not showing? Here we go. Yes, going to church together and said they'd rather live near. Yep, they did say that. I have the headline here too. I have the headline somewhere in here. All right, this video, you've probably seen it already. I'm going to mute it because it's just a lot of static sound. So now this is a video where they claimed that William was showing Andrew they claimed that this was a frosty exchange, basically, right? Andrew is blaming Kate. She has no power. Didn't Andrew lead Camilla and the rest of family into King Constantine's funeral? Yes, I forgot about that, kitty cats, or someone's funeral. Andrew is displacing who is doing him in. And that's what I really want to get into tonight. Let me put your comment up here for a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to get into here tonight. I'm wondering if this PR person, okay, this is just my speculation here, not saying this is as a fact. I'm wondering if this PR person is hired to clean up some damage that is about to ensue as a result of Andrew talking. And not just Andrew, but Andrew and Sarah. Okay, I'm going to get into her a little bit tonight as well. All right, but first I want to show you this picture, a video that you've probably seen this before. Now, this was at the funeral of the Duchess of Kent. And I guess the paparazzi caught this little video of William and Andrew interacting. And, you can look at William's face right here. He looks like he is trying really hard to ignore him, right? But he's not doing that for the entirety of the video. There is a brief moment in this video that I'm going to show you. Sarah is sick of her ex-in-laws throwing her. Yeah, I'm going to get into that. Oh, here we go. This Siri thing is popping up again. Keeps listening to me. Yeah, I'm going to show you a brief moment in this interaction between William and his uncle, where it doesn't really look like they are having a frosty exchange at all. In fact, it looks like Andrew said something to William, greasing his way, trying to grease his way, sidle himself up to William because he's a pariah now. He's like, nobody wants to have anything to do with him, right? So says some joke to William, and William is actually wants to laugh. And I'm going to show it to you. Pay attention right here, okay? So he says something to him, and look at William's face. Stop right there. Look at that. Do you see William's face? William is stifling a laugh. Now take a look at Andrew. Look at Andrew. He's got this smug look on his face, this smile on his face. So obviously he just said something. This was a good one, right? This is a good screenshot right here. He just said something to William. We have where are all the lip readers when you need them, right? He said something to William, and William can barely contain the laughter. Now, the press tried to report this as a frosty exchange. This doesn't look like a frosty exchange to me, right? So William catches himself and then goes back to trying to looking like he's ignoring him. So see, look, he catches himself. He's laughing a little bit there. You see, he's using his hand to cover his mouth to show that he's laughing at what Andrew just said to him. We don't know what Andrew said to him, okay? And then he goes back to trying to look like he's, oh, I'm really ignoring him here. I'm not even looking at him. I'm not, interacting in any way. And then Andrew realizes that, okay, yeah, you have to ignore me in public, right? Okay. So something tells me that Andrew feels really, really betrayed right now by his favorite Nevi, exactly, kitty cats. Andrew feels really betrayed right now by his nephew, because gone are the days of them riding around together, going to church and all this stuff. And where's this other file I want to show to you here? Should find it easily. Oh, no, this is going back too far. I know I'll find it easily here. Here it is. He responds to Andrew behind his hand when he fake scratches his nose and had a smirk too. Yes, I saw the smirk. So this is a little thing that came out in 2023. Again, this is after the revelations of Epstein and all that stuff. And it says, insiders reveal why Prince William and Kate Middleton seemingly reconciled with disgraced Prince Andrew in their latest outing. All right. Yes, they reconciled. They were buddy. All three of them. You see, this is an old picture. Yeah, I know this is a very old picture. The press, even though this was reported in 2023, this is an older picture because you see William still has some hair on his head there. But there is Kate, she's all chummy with Uncle Andrew there. And so that really put into sharp relief why we have this report coming out here. Andrew has reportedly turned his wrath on perfect villain Kate after being forced out of the royal family. He sees her as poison. Now, my question is, why is he pinpointing Kate? Why is he singling out Kate here? Why doesn't it say he's turned his wrath on William and Kate? Why just Kate? Now, on the one hand, you could say that he's just looking for the weakest target, going after the weakest target, because that's how he is, right? Or maybe he feels particularly betrayed by Kate. And why would he feel particularly betrayed by Kate? Is it that he knows something about her that he agreed to keep silent about, and she turned on him? Because remember that they kept seeing all these reports about how, she's the one leading the charge to get him out of Royal Lodge. Oh, she can't stand to be near Andrew and blah, blah, blah. So Andrew is like, you heifer, after all we've been through, you're going to throw me under the bus. So I think this article is worth a read because it has some very interesting little tidbits in there. I'm going to pull it up for you in a second here. Give me 1 second. And here it is. All right. Andrew has reportedly turned his wrath on perfect villain Kate after being forced out of the royal family. He sees her as poison. Is it possible William is throwing Kate at Andrew like a sacrifice to keep him clear of a scandal? Ooh, I don't know. That sounds like a whole other rabbit hole now, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. All right. It's been months since ex-Prince Andrew was stripped of his official titles, but his drama with the royal family isn't done yet. A source told Heat World UK in a report published on December 22nd that Andrew has become completely fixated on Prince William's wife, Kate Middleton, as the reason for why he lost his royal titles and was essentially exiled from the family. Buckingham Palace announced, blah, 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 blah. Right. Yeah, we know that he's no longer Prince Andrew. Not that that means anything. Okay. Andrew has become completely fixated on Kate. He keeps going on about how she's a silent assassin who's been quietly pulling the strings and whipping William into a frenzy about him. The insider said he's absolutely certain that major decisions about his future have been run past her and William. But instead of blaming William for getting him forced out, he's turned his wrath on Kate. The source continued, he has this warped belief that William is being controlled by her. Thank you, kitty cats. That William is being controlled by her. That she's whispering in his ear and turning him against his own blood. He's saying she's poisoned the well against him. According to the insider, Andrew is especially hurt by Kate because he believed they were on good terms. Hold on one second. I'm going to have to cough. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah. He's saying she poisoned the well against him. According to the insider, blah, 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 yeah. According to the insider, Andrew is especially hurt by Kate because he believed they were on good terms. They were on good terms before his royal exile. Really now? So you're telling me all these reports about Kate wants him out of Royal Lodge and Kate is just so disgusted by him. Are you telling me those are fake reports? Is that fake news? Okay, to borrow a term of art from someone we know very well. So yeah, apparently he is really pissed at her because he thought that they were cool. And now she's she's sacrificing him on her PR altar, right? And I get the feeling he's thinking to himself, the things I know about you, and you have the nerve to turn on me. I'm getting this kind of vibe from him here. I don't know if it's I could be wrong, but that's what this is telling me. Okay, let me continue. She was always very polite and warm. He believed she genuinely liked him, the source said. Now she won't give him the time of day, and he is seeing it as her deliberately freezing him out and using her influence to make sure he stays sidelined. The insider continued, he's now lashing out and telling anyone who will listen that she's the reason he's been booted from his own family. All right. Where are we? Yeah. He's vowing to get back at her, which is not going down well with William when he finds out. I don't know. William doesn't care. William does not care about Kate. William is so satisfied when he sees Kate being humiliated. William has no care in the world if Kate is going to be humiliated because he, in my opinion, he's behind a lot of the reports, little sneaky reports out there, humiliating Kate. All right. So I don't think William is going to care, but I just find it kind of interesting, especially the fact that it says he believed she genuinely liked him. But now she won't even give him the time of day. And he is seeing it as her deliberately freezing him out and using her influence to make sure he stays sidelined. Right, kitty cats? Kate can't boot anybody. She has no power. She has no power, right? Let me tell you something about Kate. Kate is hanging on for dear life right now. When you see all the puff pieces about her in the press, that's her hanging on for dear life. She's fighting for her life as well, okay? She is straight up fighting for her life in this firm. And the big positive PR push for her, that's an indication of that. She is very, very deep into this PR game, okay? All right. The source also claimed that Andrew's bitterness has led him to find someone to blame for his exile. I mean, that's true. He has no one to blame but himself. He has no one to blame but himself. But the fact that he is trying to use Kate as a shield, this is what I find very interesting. Okay, and that person happens to be Kate. Andrew is absolutely seething and looking for someone to blame. And in his mind, Kate has become the perfect villain, the insider said. He's convinced himself she's far more powerful than she lets on, that she's quietly steering decisions behind the scenes while maintaining this serene public image. Now, that I can agree with, right? The fact that she is trying to maintain this serene public image. He is a very bitter man. The source continued, true to form, Andrew refuses to accept that his own actions landed him where he is now. That's very true. Instead, he's bad-mouthing Kate. And while there are still a few people within the palace that speak to him, he's been venting to them and warning them not to be fooled by her nice girl act. I think that's an incredible report. And what's incredible about it too is that it hasn't really made the press. The press is kind of suppressing this story right here, right? Now I know I keep doing this. I want you to do another thought experiment and just substitute Kate with Megan here. Now, if Andrew had reportedly turned his wrath on the perfect villain Megan, just imagine that in your mind. The press would be running this story nonstop and asking, what is it that he knows about her? But instead it's Kate. So now the press has completely suppressed this little report right here, because this is a very obscure report on Yahoo that just kind of like whizzed by, like nobody really noticed it. This was what? January 10th? When was January 10th? Was that yesterday? Or 2 days ago? That was back on Saturday. Yeah, today is the 13th. So a few days now, right? I think Prince Andrew knew Kate before she married. Now, I want to talk about this a little because, listen, I don't know if she knew Prince Andrew before she married William. I've certainly heard the rumors. I will say that. I've certainly heard the rumors, but I don't know for sure because I haven't seen anything solid in, press reports that she knew Andrew before William. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because we do know that they scrub the internet. We do know that for a fact, that they scrub the internet. So I have heard this before, Diana Flanders, that Andrew did know Kate before she married William. But look, I wouldn't be surprised, because it sounds like, especially if you just heard the article I just read, it sounds like he's really pissed at her. I mean, he blames her. He blames her specifically. And I'm just curious as to why he's specifically pointing at her. This is what I want to know. Yeah, we know he's a terrible person that doesn't take responsibility for his actions and probably still doesn't, and who is entitled and feels that the world owes him a living because he is the queen's youngest son or whatever. That's his attitude. Like he that's been his whole MO all his life. He's been the spoiled brat prince. I mean, there are so many stories about how horrible this person is. There was a thing I came across a couple weeks ago where he rammed his BMW into the gates. I forgot which gate it was of some residence, some royal residence, and he was trying to get home. I don't, so was it Royal Lodge? Possibly, right? But there was a gate there, and the thing is, the security started opening the gate, but it was opening too slowly, and he was so frustrated by that, he just rammed his car into the gate. This is the type of person he is. So on the one hand, you can say, it's nothing and he's just using Kate because she's an easy target. But on the other hand, is it something else? Why is he so mad at her? Like, I mean, it pretty much says it right here. It says he's warning people not to be fooled by her nice girl act. That is huge. The fact that he is calling her out on this nice girl act. Yes, that's right. His daughters do not get along with Kate. They don't get along with Kate. Anyway, all right. So I'm not going to read the article again. That's pretty much that. But there's also another York person here, and that is Sarah Ferguson. Well, she's not a York anymore because I don't think she's is she still a Duchess? I don't think she's a Duchess anymore. I'm not so sure. All right. Let's see if I can. Let me take this one down. And I'm going to put up the next story here. And we shall discuss. I think this is the one here. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, it's loading. Sarah Ferguson weighs up 6-figure offer for tell-all TV interview. Sarah Ferguson is weighing up her options for a tell-all TV interview after receiving significant bids from U.S. channels, it has been reported. Now, this is another, what shall we call this here? I don't want to say a ticking time bomb again, because the last time I used the word bomb, someone in the audience kind of got upset about that. So I won't use that word anymore. But anyway, I'm just joking. Truth of Dilly, if you're listening, I'm just playing with you. So yeah, this is another reason why the PR person could have been hired. And I'm going to show you another article here. Sarah Ferguson offered 6-figure deal for tell-all interview after losing Duchess title amid Epstein scandal. So, okay, yes. So she lost her Duchess title as well. Now look at the the subtitle here. It says, there is a risk of her going rogue and causing embarrassment for senior royals. Now, something just tells me that this PR crisis cleaner upper here, it might have something to do with Andrew and Sarah about to reveal something. It was Buckingham, where Andrew had private quarters, where he invited young girls, and Ghislaine Maxwell had access without writing her name in the visitor's book to get past the security. Yes, we know that. Buckingham Palace, where he rammed the gates because security wasn't quick enough to open the gates. Yeah, I'm going to put this up here. Buckingham Palace, where he rammed the gates because security wasn't quick enough to open the gates. He abused the gate people. Yeah, so this is the nasty person who Andrew is here. Oh, this is the video again. Oh, why not? Let's watch the video again. This is the despicable Andrew Mountbatten Windsor here. Okay, whatever they want to call him, Prince Andrew Mountbatten, doesn't make any difference to me. Right? Even if they call him Prince Andrew, so what? What is that? So what? So yeah, this is the kind of nasty person that he is. So I certainly am not going to shed a tear over Andrew. But now I'm wondering, especially in light of this thing that came out late last year, that Sarah Ferguson is fielding offers. She is fielding offers right now for 6-figure deals, and it has the palace in a panic. Now, you have to understand that they are not going to tell you. The palace is not going to tell you when they're in a panic about anything, right? Never, what's it? Never complain, never explain. They're not going to tell you if they're in a panic about something. They're not going to show their hand, right? Because they know that people are watching them. This was another thing that came out. This is quite some time ago. This is, this report came out earlier this year, but it brought back into focus an email from 2011 where Sarah Ferguson was not paying her staff, right? Now, why am I showing you this? Because Sarah Ferguson is a woman who is constantly in debt. Okay, she is constantly in debt. The queen, let me take this one down. The queen was always on her case about her debts, and the queen, at what was just so exasperated with her, the queen was like, listen, I'm not paying your debts for you anymore. You need to pay your own damn debts. I'm sick of you always in debt, because she was always living beyond her means. Okay, this is an old newspaper clipping right here from 1996. So as far back as the 90s, right after she and Andrew divorced, she was always in debt. While she was married to Andrew, she was always in debt. She was always overspending. There was a report of her, I think it was Sunning Hill Park, where they had their first residence that the Queen had given them, the first royal residence, Sunning Hill Park or something. And she spent so much money refurbishing the bathroom that the tub was so enormous that they called the tub the HMS Fergie. She was just constantly spending and spending and spending, and she never had enough money. But she figures, she's a member of the royal family now, so she's always going to have that lifeline. And the queen was like, no, pay your own damn debts. And obviously she wasn't getting paid a lot. She was starved for money at one point. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money she's gotten. She's going to spend it, because this woman is, I don't know if she's a shopaholic or what it is. I don't know what she's spending her money on. But this is also not a woman who's been broke. Okay. She made a good amount of money as a Weight Watchers spokesperson. I think it was the early 2000s or something. I don't remember when she was a Weight Watcher. Remember when she was a Weight Watcher spokesperson? She has made money. Okay. And then she was on a show. She was on a TV show at one point. She was making money. Why is she always in debt? Sarah Ferguson, indebted Duchess comes clean. All right. And there's a little article here I came across. I'm going to read a little bit about it for you. Sarah Ferguson. All right, here it is. So it says, and this is an old article as well. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has come clean about the financial problems that have led some to dub her the Duchess of Debt. Yes, that's right. Saipanon 9711. Epstein was her financier. He gave her $100,000 to $250,000 at a time, and she was still constantly asking. Yes, we saw the emails that came out. I mean, they were embarrassing. They were so embarrassing. You know, she was like, "Oh, can you lend me another 100 quid to tide me over?" You know, I know that's a terrible British accent, but that's what she was doing. She was just constant. She's always broke. She's always in debt. She's always spending more than she has. And what does that mean? That means that she can be easily bought. Okay. So, okay, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has come clean about the financial problems that have led some to dub her the Duchess of Debt. Ferguson told the British magazine Hello that she owes £600,000, roughly $889,000, after the collapse of her US based business, Heartmore, a lifestyle company. Did you know about that? Did you know that she had a lifestyle company called Heartmore? I had no idea. Ferguson said she started the company after meeting someone who has masterminded the careers of several big entertainers, but didn't say who. She said she invested into Heartmore all the money she earned from producing the film The Young Victoria and from her children's book sales. The idea for the company, she said, seemed fantastic, but Ferguson told the magazine that the reality proved far different. Okay, so she tried to do some business venture. She tried to get into the what's some kind of lifestyle. My microphone cable keeps slipping out, so sorry about that. Yeah, and I saw this other article here I'm going to share with you, where it says the palace is actually kind of terrified. They're terrified that she's going to talk, because they know, let me see if this is it right here. They know that she's always broke, and that, you know, all that it takes. Can you hear me now? Saipanon? Yeah, I think you can hear me now. Yeah, I have a loose cable. What is this now? Yeah. A 2011 email has resurfaced which suggests Sarah Ferguson owed Jeffrey Epstein thousands in unpaid wages. Yes. Images of the bombshell email were shared by photographer Christopher Anderson. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Who recently took those photos of Donald Trump's team for Vanity Fair, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. I'm going to share some of the pictures that he took on his apparently there was a photographer in her office or something, and he actually took that. Sounds kind of underhanded to me if you ask me, but hey, this is the British media we're talking about. It's anything goes with them, right? So they took pictures of emails that were on her desk. The email was seemingly sent by Johnny O'Sullivan, Sarah's former assistant, who was claiming £78,000 in unpaid wages and other bills, per reports from the time. The email dated 17 February 2011 was addressed to Amanda Thirsk, who served as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's private secretary. The then Prince Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson were also on CC. A close-up of the email is shown in the final slide of the carousel, and it reads, and I'm gonna share it with you right now, what it reads. I think this is the one, yeah. Is this the one? No. This is not. This is not the one. This is not the email. I'm gonna find the email, but this is just another thing here where the Queen refused to bail her out. What I found interesting about this is that it kind of gave a glimpse into how much she was making while she was Duchess of York. And it tracks with something I mentioned last week where I suspected that William has probably cut Kate's salary to probably somewhere around £200,000 a year, because that seems to be what the going rate for the spares and the wives of the spares, or I don't know, the households of the spares or something, right? They're not getting paid a lot of money at all, which is why they're constantly begging for money. They're constantly looking for money in other sources. But let me find this. Where's the email that she wrote now? Where is it? If I can't find it, it's here. I just can't really see exactly what it is. Is this the one? Let's see. Oh, no. This is just a file. This is just a screenshot of Andrew being pissed off at Kate for some reason. The fact that he is pinning the blame on the perfect villain, Kate. So that's not the one. Let me see if I can find it here. If not, it's fine. It's fine. Basically the point I'm trying to make here is that let me see if this one here. They are terrified, okay? They are terrified that the Yorks are going to start singing like a canary. A former royal family employee explains the true impact that a tell-all interview from Sarah Ferguson would have on the firm. All right, and this was late last year that this came out. Okay. Now, I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with reasons why a crisis manager has been engaged by Kensington Palace. And many people believe, and maybe rightly so, that this has something to do with the helicopter footage that came out that kind of confirms for everyone what everyone was thinking, that, they're not together anymore, and they're hiding it, and they feel ashamed to tell the public that they're not together anymore, or either that William can't get a divorce because Charles has probably said to him, look, you can't get a divorce. All right. And so he's stuck with Kate. And Kate, she's not happy either, but she's hell-bent on being queen. Okay. And the helicopter footage just kind of confirms what everyone has suspected for a while now, and that is that they're not together anymore, right? So it could be that. It could be that. Or it could be something that's about to be coming down the pike as a result of Andrew and Sarah being so spectacularly banished by the firm. Okay. There was something else I was reading where it says that I think it's a video where Charles offered Sarah a little cottage or something, some cottage on one of the royal estates. I don't know if it's Sandringham or one of the, they have so much land. They have so much property, this family, right? They have so many empty mansions, and in between that, little houses and cottages. They have so much real estate that's literally just sitting there empty, right? Now, Sarah is out. Sarah has nothing. Sarah is completely out. Nobody wants to have anything to do with her since the Epstein emails were brought to light. Nobody wants to have anything to do with her anymore. All the charities are want nothing to do with her anymore. She is persona non grata, along with Andrew. But unlike Andrew, she is not a member of a blood royal, and therefore you know, he's gonna still have something to fall back on, right? You know, by the way, he hasn't actually left Royal Lodge yet. I hope you guys realize that, right? He has not, Andrew has not left Royal Lodge as yet. And I think the last thing I read was that he agreed to leave in October of this year. So and apparently they want him to get out sooner than that. Apparently William and Kate want him out of Royal Lodge sooner than that. And that had something to do with a report several weeks ago that came out where he was actually kind of trying to strong arm the York sisters, where William was literally trying to intimidate the York sisters to coerce them into convincing their father to get out of Royal Lodge as soon as possible, right? Now, yes, the reports state that he has agreed to leave Royal Lodge, but he has not left yet. He has not left yet. He is still in Royal Lodge, right? But she is not in Royal Lodge. I don't know where she is. She is flapping in the wind somewhere. Apparently she sold her apartment in Mayfair and she sold it at a loss. So let me show you a video file that I came across here about Sarah. Here we go. Not gonna it's
exclusive Fergie time. Sarah Ferguson considers offers for a tell-all TV interview, a six-figure sum on the table for a first chat after losing her title. Let's get reaction now from the editor-at-large of the Mail on Sunday newspaper, Charlotte Griffiths. Good morning, Charlotte.
Morning, how are you?
I'm very well indeed, and this is King Charles's worst nightmare, an AWOL Fergie that spills the beans.
Yes, you did actually predict this, Mark, the other day, and I disagreed with you, and I hold my hands up. I was wrong, because you did predict, rightly, that there's a chance Fergie might go rogue. And what The Sun is reporting today is that courtiers are equally as worried she might go rogue, because, of course, she's been completely cut off. She has no house, no status, no money. So really, actually, what else is there for her to do? And if somebody like Oprah is coming forward with a huge money offer, then, you know, actually, really, she'd be a fool not to take it.
Well, I've heard various reports about her finances, and some people say she's got enough cash, but she did sell a Mayfair property at a loss. That was supposed to be an investment, which she sold after 4 years at a loss of around £400,000.
Yeah, that was such an extraordinary house, and I've reported on it since she bought it, because on the deeds there was a clause in it which said she couldn't sell it unless Beatrice and Eugenie agree that she's allowed to sell it, which is highly unusual. And there was a lot of speculation that perhaps it was some sort of backhanded inheritance from the Queen or something, because it's just really unusual to have that caveat on it. But anyway, the girls did agree to let her sell it at a loss, and the reason they claim that it was at a loss is because the tenant that was already living in it said he wanted to buy it. But the timing was extraordinary, because they sold it just...
All right, so she goes on and on and on and on and on about how, you know, she had to sell her apartment at a loss and everything. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. I don't want to play too much of this stuff here.
Andrew will be accommodated at the expense of the king on the Sandringham estate, and that she's been turfed out so that she can either sink or swim.
Well, what I've heard is that I think she probably is angry, but really mostly she's very, very low and in a very low place, and has been loafing around, drinking at the outdoor pub that they have in Royal Lodge. It's kind of a makeshift pub, and the girls are very worried about her. It's more a sort of deep, deep depression than anger. But there is some talk that the king might find some minor property for her, because to mitigate this risk of her going nuclear.
So I thought what she said here is very interesting. She says she thought the king might find some minor property for her. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah, she thought the king might find some minor property for her at the risk of her going nuclear. So what does that mean? That means that they're scared. They're scared of what both Sarah and Andrew are going to say. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is what the crisis management business is all about. But as someone in the comments made a good point, you know, if William has nothing to do with that, has nothing to do with Andrew, why is he hiring this crisis management firm? You know, if it's about Andrew and he has nothing to do with Andrew, then, you know, what does Andrew have to do with him hiring a crisis management firm? And maybe it does have something to do with what Andrew knows. You know, couple that with the article about Andrew being, you know, so angry with Kate. It doesn't even say that he's angry with William. It says he's angry with Kate specifically. I just find that to be incredible, especially when you look at this video here, right? Let me play this again. I just find that to be incredible here. Just look at this. You see that he is smirking with Andrew. They're smirking together, right? And then you get this report that says that he has turned his wrath on the perfect villain, Kate, right? He sees her as the poison and all that. Why? Why doesn't he see William as the poison? I don't get it. When I tell you that William is a snake, please believe me when I tell you that this man is such a snake, right? I wouldn't be surprised in the least if Andrew is his little drinking buddy. Andrew is William's drinking buddy when he wants to go off on Kate, right? When he wants to slag off on his wife. It all falls on Andrew's ears. Andrew is the recipient of all of that. That is why Andrew thinks that they're so buddy-buddy. But he knows he can't go after William, right? He can't go after William. He can't say that, oh, William is, you know, is poison and William was, I thought we were good and now we're not good anymore. He can't do that with William because his life is essentially going to be in William's hands. But he can go after Kate. She is far more vulnerable. She is far more vulnerable because look at this. Just look at the way how they're behaving here, folks. Oh, it's still loading here. You know, Andrew is his buddy. There's no doubt about it. Andrew is their buddy. It's still loading there. Yeah, there it is again. He looks at him. He wants to laugh. Then he covers his mouth. Look at that. And it looks like he says something when he covers his mouth too. Look, take a look. All right, now look, I want you to look at Andrew's face while he's covering his mouth, okay? Don't look at William right now. Look at Andrew's face right now. Look at Andrew's face when he's covering his mouth. Look at Andrew's face. Ah, look at that. Big smile. So he says something and he laughs. So when he covered his mouth, you see, he's saying something to him. And it's not, get away from me, you're a disgusting person, you're a horrible person, I want nothing to do with you. That's clearly not what he's saying to him here. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to get the big laugh. You're not gonna get this big old grin here. Okay, look. These are two dudes, okay? And what are dudes gonna do? Dudes are gonna do what dudes do, which is slag off on women. Okay, I'm not saying all dudes do that. I'm not saying all men do that. But we certainly know he's a piece of crap. Andrew's a piece of crap that would definitely do that. And so far William is able to maintain this pristine reputation with the public that he's clean and nothing going on with him. But it's obvious to me that they are terrified. They are terrified of what Sarah Ferguson is going to say. They're terrified of what Andrew might say. And anyway, so this is the reason why a crisis expert might have been hired. All right, what do you think? What do you guys think? Right? Because who else is around for him to do shady stuff with? Exactly. And it says, one of the reports said something like, there are very few people left that he has to talk to in the family. Who are those very few people? I'm pretty sure it's William. William is still one of the people who he is still very much buddy, all chummy with. Because you know what? Birds of a feather. And Kate is in the middle here, and she just goes along with everything, because she doesn't say anything. Her whole thing is, she's praised for being mute. That's the thing with her. She is praised for not being outspoken. She's praised for keeping her mouth shut. They see this as a virtue, that this, she's not like that Diana. Diana was a loose cannon. Oh no, not Kate. Kate's no loose cannon. Kate's gonna play the game. Kate's gonna be a company woman. She's not gonna say anything. We can all rely on good old reliable Kate to keep her mouth shut, right? So she's not gonna say anything, which makes this even funnier. That for the fact that he's ready to turn on her. Based on this article, he is ready. It sounds like he's ready to spill the beans on her. I don't know. What do you think? There's something else I wanted to show you here. Drink some water. Now, I'm going to wrap this up in a little bit because my mind is like, I've been fasting all day, and now I'm starting to really feel the effects here of my fasting. And anyway, what did I want to show you here? I wanted to show you a few other things. Kate's nature video. I want to touch on that a little bit before we go, because like I said, it's not going to be a marathon live stream here, okay? There's this little... Kate is being panned again for her nature video, okay? And I'm not going to play the video. You probably know what it's like now. It's, this kind of very cinematic, highly produced kind of thing. Some people have said it's AI. So I've heard, some commenters on previous videos I've done that say that it's just a lot more AI stuff that's in there. And it's possible. It's possible that some of it is AI. She doesn't really do anything in these videos. It's a voiceover narration of her waxing poetic about nature. And, she's getting a lot of flack for this. And there was something I found kind of interesting about this. And it's the fact that, wait, let me show you the headline here, where she's kind of being, is it this one? I think this is the one here. Let's see. Liz Jones. Kate's recovery is so moving, but her new video has made me worry. No wonder people are starting to talk. She always says this, it has made me worry. Why is it worrying you? Why are you worried? Why are you worried about her video? You know, if she wants to make a video, let her make a video. Why are you worried? This is the thing with the press, the relationship that Kate has with the press, right? I feel, now correct me if this theory is far out of left field or whatever, but I feel like the press is willing to continue to paint her in this glowing positive light as long as she just stays in line. And you notice that whenever she does something to try to express herself, to try to be creative in whatever way, even you can say, all right, she did very little to produce this video. All she did was walk around and somebody else did all the work. Fine. It's still her commission. She's the one that commissioned to have this thing done, right? So you can say that this is a way that she is trying to express herself. Now, every time Kate has come out with one of these videos or anything else where she's clearly trying to express herself, I wonder if you notice the press is not that kind to her. They're not that kind to her. The same press that treats her like that, reports on her as though she's a saint, they're actually very critical of her attempts to express her creativity. And what that tells me is that it's like almost like they're saying, get back in your cage. You know, it's like they're saying, get back in your cage. What are you doing? We don't want to hear about you talking about your nature and all this stuff. Just get back in your cage. And this is the situation that Kate finds herself in, because I feel like she would like to be able to express herself and to, you know, do her little nature videos or whatever it is that, you know, gets her going, right? But she's not allowed to. She is not allowed to shine. She's not allowed to express herself. The same press that praises her and you know, and paints this picture of perfection, that same press are the same ones to slam her, you know, and she knows it. She knows it. And I'm sure this drives her crazy because she's constantly being compared to with Meghan, right? She's constantly being compared to with Meghan. Now, she's not the only one, right? They're trying to do the same thing with Meghan, because the whole idea is this: nobody's supposed to outshine two people. No one is supposed to outshine the monarch, and no one is supposed to outshine the heir, right? And what has Harry and Meghan done so far? Outshine the monarch and outshine the heir. So it's no mystery as to why they're very abusive to Meghan. They're constantly describing her business ventures, her creative ventures, her creative endeavors as a failure. They're constantly trying to frame her as failing and everything is a flop. Now, I wanted to touch on this story that the last live stream, but it was almost 3 hours now. I was like, listen, let's just wrap things up. But I want to touch on this story for just a second here, right? Where is it? This is the first one here. When Meghan can make 27 million pounds selling jam, you know society is broken. All right. I wanted to talk about this guy. Okay, let me just use this. I wanted to use a story before this, but it's okay. I'll start with this one. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, what happened here, right? So they're constantly trying to prove that nothing that Megan Sussex is doing is working, right? They're constantly trying to prove that she's a failure, that she's a flop, that she's just this big hopeless failure and she can't win for losing and blah blah blah, all this nonsense, right? So some of these some of her, I guess they call them the derangers, right? The derangers. So they were able to access the back end of her website, her As Ever website. There was like a glitch where they were able to access her back end, showing how much stock was left for her products, right? So I guess they were looking into the jam to see, the whole point was they were trying to prove that she's really failing. And inadvertently, it ended up showing that she's actually doing phenomenally well. Because it turned out that she has sold almost 1 million jars of jam. Now, I want to express to you how incredible that is for a first-time business in this space, in the food space. All right? In the specialty food space, the luxury food space, because her jams are not cheap. Okay? I think we can all agree on that. Like, her stuff is not cheap. And I just want you to think, for any other person, anyone who starts a business like similar to this. Let's say someone who wants to start a jam business or whatever, the same kind of lifestyle business, selling jams, teas, flour sprinkles, you name it, right? If anyone else started a business like this and made only $1 million in their first year, that would be considered a great success. And instead, she has made over 27 million pounds. And this is in just jam alone. We don't know how much she sold in wine. We don't know how much she sold in pancake mix and flour. We don't know about all that other stuff. We only know this is just the information on the jam. So their attempts to expose her as a failure backfired and ended up revealing that her business is actually a great success, because who in their right mind is gonna look at 27 million pounds in sales in her first year and call that a failure? Who in their right mind is going to call that? If maybe this clown, what's his name, Fitzwilliams or Fitzpatrick or something, the journalist I'm talking about. They're constantly trying to convince the public that she is such a failure, and she keeps proving them wrong, and it's driving them crazy. What's this? Charles sells jams and teas under the Highgrove Original shops. Queen Elizabeth sold it. Yes, exactly. So, because a lot of people forget that the royal family is a business, right? They are a business and they sell stuff. So this whole behaving as though they're above selling things and, they would never do that. It's beneath them to sell things. They're full of shit, because they sell jams too. But obviously their sales are not as good as hers, and it drives them crazy. And the same way that they're, where is the picture here? The same way that Kate gets slammed for trying to, I don't know, I guess like you could look at the analogy that she's a chrysalis and she's trying to metamorphosize into a butterfly. I mean, everybody goes through some kind of transformative period in their life where you're trying to transform into something else, right? Whatever it is, whether it's to pursue your creative energy and you're trying to do something, and then maybe you're going to fail a million times and you're going to try again, this is everybody. Right? Now, why do I say this? I say this because they are trying to do to Meghan what they are essentially doing to Kate. They want to tell Meghan to get back in her cage the same way they criticize Kate every time she comes out with one. And to be fair, they are like kind of pointless videos. It's not so much that I'm defending her videos. They are kind of pointless. I mean, because what's the point, right? But the whole idea is to try to suppress her, to try to force her, Meghan, back into a royal cage, the same way they every time poor Kate, I'm going to say poor Kate, every time Kate tries to do something, the same press that praises her slams her right back down and tells her, get back in your cage. They can't do that to Meghan. They can't, because Meghan left. This is why they're always going after her, always attacking her, always writing stupid stories about her, trying to portray her as a evil villain, because she left the cage and she told them, fuck you. Right? Now, is Kate strong enough to do that? I don't know. Maybe, you never know. Maybe one day Kate is going to have a revelation and tell these people to go to hell. I doubt it, though. I mean, but I hope she does. I really do. I hope she does. Let me see. I think the video, let me take this down. I think the video, her film crew drug up a black guy for her to feature in her video and listen to her yammer about nature. Best believe Kate and William don't know anything. Yes. Yeah, they're always like posing with, finding black people to pose with. Remember last year she went to or was it earlier this year? I can't remember. She went to the Anna Freud Center or something, and she did this photo op posing next to a black baby, and they're always doing it. I mean, they all do it actually. Camilla does it too. They all try. It's ever since the whole stuff came out about the questioning of Archie's skin color. They were questioning whether, what is he gonna look black? Oh my God, oh my God. Is he what color is he gonna be? I mean, we're talking about a baby that hasn't even been born yet, right? And I think it was when that came out that they became really hypersensitive about being called racist. And then there was a video where I think this was after the Oprah interview, and there was a video of William and Kate walking somewhere, and the reporter yells out, are you a racist family? And then William says, we're very much not a racist family, right? So yeah, they're always going to be trying to find black people to pose next to prove that they're not a racist family. When, look, by definition, they are a racist family, right? The fact that, why do I say that? Because let's be real here. They are up until the late 19th century. Up until the late 19th century, they were a thoroughly inbred family. Okay, they were thoroughly inbred. Let me take this video down here because I want to put something else up here. No, this is not it. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Let me show you this one first. Okay, I can only share up to 10 images. All right, let me get rid of this story because we talked about this already. Here we go. Vicky and Bertie. Now, I was watching a documentary on Amazon Prime the other night. I think it was in the BBC Select uh, thing that they have there. And there was this documentary about Victoria's 9 children. And it was very interesting. First of all, I know this is like kind of a sidetrack here, but listen, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. You know, if you think it's all over the place, it's all over the place. I don't care. I'm just going to talk about what I feel like talking about. All right. So now, I'm sure you probably know already that they were first cousins, right? Victoria and Albert. This is her beloved Albert. They were first cousins. And also, this is just, he was just one princeling, German princeling in a long line of Germans that has that is a part of the royal family. Okay, they're Germans. They're essentially Germans. So he was German, and he was completely controlling of her. Right, she deferred to everything that he wanted. Live streams aren't a difficult. Exactly, Kitty Cats. Thank you so much, Kitty Cats. So anyway, she had 9 kids, and she treated them horribly. She was just horrible to her children. I mean, this was I'm just telling you about the documentary here. And you know, she had one child. I think it wasn't the youngest. I mean, it was of 9 children. It might have been the 8th child, and he had the hemophilia, right? You know, this is one of the telltale signs of inbreeding in the royal family is the hemophilia curse that is passed down to the fetus from the matrilineal line, right? So she basically passed it on to her son, and he suffered greatly. This was Leopold, and he died at the age of 30. She treated her children horribly. She said that childbirth and child rearing was just revolting. She thought it was revolting to nurse her children. She did not like her children very much. Okay. Apparently she really enjoyed doing what was necessary to have those children, but when she finally had the children, she wasn't very keen on she wasn't a very doting mother, right? So she had, if you take a look at her children, they all look alike. They all look alike. They all have the same bulging eyes and the same kind of just, it's because they are inbred. Okay, they're inbred. And so the royal family is not my point was that they're very much a racist family because they're very much an inbred family. They want to keep things in the family. It's just another kind of racism when you think about it, you know. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this guy right here. He's gonna come up in a second here. Exactly. She was very homely. King Edward. This is the AI mode about King Edward, otherwise known as Bertie. And he eventually became the king. He became King Edward VII. And he ruled for about 10 years. And he was widely known to his family and the public as being a notorious womanizer. Right? He had a reputation for excessive indulgence in food, gambling, and extramarital affairs. Right? And why do I bring him up? I bring him up because Andrew is nothing new for this family, right? Andrew is nothing new. He is just another in a long line of womanizers in this family, okay? Bertie is conjectured to have had at least 55 affairs over his lifetime. His lovers spanned all levels of society, from high-ranking noblewomen to famous actresses and even professional prostitutes. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? And he actually became king, right? And now here we go. Alice Keppel. I'm sure you all know who Alice Keppel is. His official and most prominent mistress during his later years. She was the great grandmother of Queen Camilla, the wife of King Charles. So I want you to understand that this is the reason why Camilla does not see herself as a commoner. Okay. Camilla does not believe that she's a commoner because of her great-great-grandmother here, Alice Keppel, who was the mistress of King Edward VII. Yes, that's right, Leonie Romanes. He was called Edward the Caresser, and at one point they even called him Edward the Harasser because he hit on every woman that he came across. Sounds exactly like Andrew, just in a different age. Okay, this is the reason why Andrew is the way he is, because this is nothing to them, to treat people like objects, to use people, to behave in an entitled way, to just, abuse people. So this is Camilla's great-great-grandmother right here. And I don't have the exact story in front of me right now, but basically she apparently had a child with Edward. And of course is an illegitimate child because she's not married to Edward. She was his mistress, so the child could not be recognized. I think that the child's name was Sonia or something like that. And so Camilla obviously is not going to acknowledge that because of Sonia, she's actually has royal blood. But this is Camilla's claim to the royal family. Camilla believes that she is of royal blood because of actually the child that this lady here, Alice Keppel, had with Bertie. Okay, so yeah, I mean, these people, they're full of drama. It's just a lot of drama with these people. All right, I'm going to wrap things up soon because I said I was only going to be on for an hour and it's now 2 hours. So let me just show you a few other things that I wanted to talk about, and then we can call it a night. And I know you guys, you probably have lots of other stuff to do. So the last live stream, I want to talk about this real quick. Something that I just found really, really annoying here. Oh, I have to take something down. Give me a second. George V, older bro, Prince Eddie, who died, was in a yes, a gay sex scandal. Prince George of Kent, buyer gay, looks just like Charles in his picture. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this the last time, and I saw this thing here. This popped up on, I don't remember where I saw it, but it says Kate Middleton made the 100 most influential people in oncology. Really? Really now? The 100 most influential people in oncology. Don't you just find that this, I think this has gone too far, okay? I think this has gone way too far now. This is just a ridiculous insult. Now, you all know how I feel about Kate and her so-called cancer diagnosis, okay? I went over it a little bit last week. William and Rhiannon Mills, they took that flight to Cape Town back in 2024. And on that flight to Cape Town, William gave Rhiannon Mills enough of an earful to come back and write an article claiming that Kate only had precancer cells. Do you all remember that? And it caused a big brouhaha. Kate's office in Kensington Palace, or it says Kensington Palace, insisted that they change the report, which obviously that means Kate insisted that they change the report, and they had to go back and scrub that report where Rhiannon Mills, after flying with William to Cape Town, came back and said that Kate just only had precancer cells, right? And I mentioned last week that having precancer cells is not the same as having a cancer diagnosis, all right? And then we have the whole thing about her claiming to have visited, to have gotten treatment from the Marsden Clinic last year, back in 2024. Nobody knew about it. Nobody had any idea that she was going to the Marsden Clinic. They're claiming that for all of 2024, she was getting chemotherapy treatment at the Marsden Clinic, right? When nobody knew where she was, nobody could find her, when she was busy doing Photoshop. Apparently, no paparazzi, no cell phone videos, nothing. Nobody got a glimpse of her going into the Marsden Clinic and getting treatment. And according to them, it was because she was being hustled in through the back door. Now, I just find it incredulous when people actually believe that story. I just find it incredulous that people would believe a story. It's so obviously a made up story, right? There is no way that Kate was going to the Marsden Clinic in 2024. Fight me on this. I don't care if you think I'm heartless, or I don't care. This is a lie. All right. And now I'm looking at this thing right here. Kate is the 100 most influential people in oncology. What is she? Is she a doctor? This is just absolutely ridiculous. This is an absolute insult and completely ridiculous. So you couldn't find 100 people who were researchers. Okay, fine. I'm sure among the 100 people, some of them are cancer researchers and cancer doctors. I'm assuming that, right? But now, if you're going to look for a patient, an actual cancer patient, to include among this 100 people, Kate Middleton with her precancer cells, really? This is why, this is why we have this right here, right? This is why Andrew is saying things like, let me see if I can pull up back the article here. This is why Andrew is saying things like, true to form, Andrew refuses to accept that his own actions landed him where he is today. Instead, he is bad-mouthing Kate. And while there are still a few people within the palace that speak to him, William, he's been venting to them, William, and warning them not to be fooled by her nice girl act. Right? So does Andrew know that Kate's cancer saga is a big farce? Okay? He probably does. This could be yet again another reason for the crisis person, the crisis intervention person. What do you think? All right, so kitty cats, thank you so much for doing all the heavy lifting here tonight. Let me see what it says here. I'm going to put some of these comments up on here, and then we're going to close out. Kate will pull out her cancer card whenever William tries to officially separate from her. Yes, exactly, Leonie Romanes. And this could be a reason for the crisis manager as well, the new crisis person. Let me put her picture back up here. Because we don't know, right? We really don't know why this person has been hired. And is getting quite a lot of, probably getting quite a lot of money too. Did I show this thing here? Sorry. It's a sign for me to wrap things up. This is the firm, the PR firm. I mentioned this before. This is the PR firm that this young lady, Liza Ravenscroft, was hired from. And this is a typical fees that they charge, okay? Anywhere from between $25,000 to $100,000, either a month or a week, either monthly or weekly. And as Kitty Cats pointed out, there was a famous New Yorker who hired a PR person for $60,000 a month. So depending on the magnitude of the crisis that Miss Ravenscroft is being hired to handle, I think that's what's going to determine whether it's a, we don't know if it's a $25,000 crisis or a $100,000 crisis, right? But let's be real, it's probably I wouldn't be surprised if they're willing to really pony up the big bucks based on what's coming down the pike here, right? Because we know that Sarah Ferguson, let me see if I can find back the Sarah Ferguson piece again real quick. Sarah Ferguson has been Ravenscroft resembles a slightly less mutant Sam. That's funny. Yeah, so Sarah Ferguson, where's the thing about Sarah Ferguson again? She's about to blab, right? Because Sarah Ferguson does not care. All right, let me take this back down. And I promise I'll wrap it up after this. Oh, where is it now? Sarah, yeah, here we go. This one. Yeah, I just want to talk about Sarah Ferguson and how much of a threat she is to the firm. Not just her, but both her and her ex-husband, Andrew. They are a big threat to the firm right now, okay? Because this is a woman who is always broke. For some reason, she can't hold on to money. She just was never raised with good money handling practices. She doesn't know what to do with money when she gets it. She spends it all the minute she gets it. She's been broke since the minute she entered the royal family. The queen was constantly on her case about her being broke and about her not paying her debts. I think I showed an article previously where she owed her staff thousands of dollars, where she had to, where it came out that she sent that email to Jeffrey Epstein begging him for money. So look, as Andrew Lowney says in his book, right? Sarah Ferguson is greedy. She is greedy. It's not like this woman has not made her own money in her life. She has. She made a lot of money from being a Weight Watchers spokesperson in the early 2000s. Okay, so she has had success. Okay, but for some reason, she cannot hold on to money. For some reason, she cannot hold on to money. She's always living beyond her means. Okay. And so what this tells you is that it says a former royal family employee explains the true impact that a tell-all interview from Sarah Ferguson would have on the firm. Something just tells me that the crisis manager, it might have something to do with the fake cancer, or it might have something to do with Andrew and Sarah about to spill the beans. Okay. Let me see what to say here. No lies to look up. STJ's pick. STJ. Help me out. Okay. Sam Taylor Johnson. Okay, I will. I'll look it up. Andrew and Sarah don't have much more to lose except Beatrice and Eugenie's loss of royal status. Yes, and I think that they are using Beatrice and Eugenie. They're blackmailing them, right? They're blackmailing Beatrice and Eugenie. Because look, Beatrice and Eugenie are innocent in this. They don't, I mean, they're innocent to a certain extent, right? Because they which one was it? Was it Beatrice who stood behind her father in the Newsnight interview where he claimed that he couldn't sweat, that ridiculous train wreck of an interview? So on the one hand, you can say, yeah, they're going to stand up for their parents, right? But on the other hand, you have to say, look, as an adult, at some point you have to distance yourself from them because they're toxic, right? And it's obvious that they've been put in a very, very bad predicament because William, the dunce that he is, what did he do? Sometime late last year when Virginia's book came out and it was a big royal scandal and embarrassment, everybody found out about all the nasty things Andrew had done, how he got the Metropolitan Police to try to get Virginia's social security number and so he could smear her, and how he had prostitutes coming into Buckingham Palace and the Queen knew about all this stuff, right? And that was when the firm finally said, okay, no, we got to do something here, and that's when they stripped him of his titles and all that stuff, right? So when that happened, what did William do? One of the first things he did, and you may not find it in the press too much anymore, but one of the first things he did was he tried to bully Beatrice and Eugenie. He tried to strong arm them using intimidation tactics into trying to get Andrew to vacate Royal Lodge as soon as possible. And it didn't work because Andrew is actually still at Royal Lodge. W wanted to strip his cousins of their titles, etc. I think if that were taken, Andrew and Sarah might spill the beans. So, yes, that's possible too. Yep. That's possible too. So they have a lot of leverage. Andrew and Sarah has a lot of leverage. That was Grimly, as I say that. They have a lot of leverage right now because think about it, right? This woman here, Sarah, who is notoriously greedy, she has nothing. You heard in the video. She has nothing left right now. She has no prospects right now. The only prospects she has right now are the offers she is getting in the American media. The American media offers that she's getting. That's the only prospect she has right now, right? So if somebody offers her a payout that's big enough, what do you think she's going to do? Of course she's going to take it. When all Charles wants to do is offer her some little moth-ridden, dusty property on Sandringham Estate or something, that's the only offer that he's made to her. That's not enough for Sarah. That's not enough for her. When she knows that she's cooked. her professional life is over, right? The only thing left for her to do that can make her some money is if she writes a tell-all. Either she writes a tell-all or she does a tell-all interview. That's her last hope. That's her last hope. And I think they are terrified of this happening. And could this be a reason why the fixer has been hired? In which case, I think someone earlier said that they're just using Andrew as a shield. Maybe not. Maybe William and Kate's crisis have something to do with what Andrew and Sarah know about them. All right. I think they know a lot, and they know a lot. They know a lot. And I think there's a very dangerous game being played right now. And the York sisters find themselves caught in the crossfire because they're either being threatened or being used as leverage. Right? And I don't know. I think if they're smart, they'll just tell them all to go fuck themselves. I mean, they already have careers. They already have marriages to somewhat successful husbands. I don't know. I mean, they may not live lavishly, but they can live fairly comfortable lives, Just tell them to go to hell and spill the beans. I'm talking about the York sisters here now, But I think that they are closely monitoring those two girls because they're caught in a crossfire right now of this whole drama, where they're possibly using them to blackmail Andrew and Sarah into keeping quiet. If you want Beatrice and Eugenie to still have royal standing, then just keep quiet. So that's possible. But William, like I mentioned before, big silly dunce William, he went and he threatened them. And he knew that he made a mistake. And I know he knew he made a mistake because they had to go back and try to scrub the fact that he threatened them last year when the book came out. Let me see if I can find the article real quick. And oh my God, look at that. It's 2 hours and 23 minutes. 1 second here. And then we're going to call it a night. And of course, we know that he probably threatened them because he knows that Eugenie in particular is close to Harry, right? And he hates that. He wants everyone to treat Harry like an outcast, right? This was part of their PR push, and I don't know if Miss Ravenscroft is going to continue that. Probably is, but he does not want anyone in the family talking to Harry, and I think that might have had something to do with him threatening Beatrice and Eugenie as well. Let me see if I can find this. Yep, here it is. All right, I'm going to send it over right now. All right, let me take something down here because I know it's going to tell me I have too many things. Let me get rid of this. So if you recall last year, where is it? This is the one. Oh, let me get rid of this. There we go. Prince William threatens to strip Beatrice and Eugenie's princess titles if Prince Andrew doesn't move out. So there was a time, and see, this was in October of last year. Last year, when Virginia's book came out, and the extent of Andrew's depravity was made public in a way that was not made public previously, where really he could no longer deny that it was him in the picture with Virginia. Because remember, for a long time, he kept claiming that it wasn't really him in the picture with Virginia, right? They were saying that at some point. So I'm just going to read it real quick for you. There are rumors that Prince Andrew threatened to strip Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice of their royal titles if Prince Andrew doesn't give up the royal lodge. Prince Andrew currently lives in the mansion with his ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. The disgraced royal has an ironclad lease and is resisting eviction attempts. Prince William has reportedly turned to new methods in an attempt to get his disgraced uncle Prince Andrew to leave the royal lodge. And according to the Newsagents podcast hosted by Emily Maitlis, and she's the same person who did the infamous Newsnight interview, William potentially threatened his cousins, Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice, with the removal of their titles if Andrew doesn't give up on his ironclad lease. Per Maitlis, via the Daily Beast, on Thursday night, the palace told ITN and the press association, the Big Wire services, to crew the gates outside Royal Lodge at 8 p.m. because, and this was the phrase they used, there may be passing traffic. Nothing more was said, just that there may be passing traffic. Okay. She went on to reveal there was a question over whether there had been early in the day a meeting between Prince William and the princesses Beatrice and Eugenie saying, "You've got to get your dad to move out of Royal Lodge, otherwise we will start re-examining the state of your own titles." They are at the moment allowed to be princesses, but there was pressure being put on them. Obviously, you can see why Andrew, as a father, would want to keep his daughters happy and keep the titles a bit. Okay. This comes amid reports that Andrew could agree to leave the Royal Lodge if he gets 2 homes in return: Frogmore Cottage and Adelaide Cottage. Well, that's interesting. Who was living at Adelaide Cottage before? Wasn't that the one that Kate said was cursed? Wasn't that where she was living before, in Adelaide Cottage? So apparently, Andrew has not left Royal Lodge because they're still in negotiations. Okay. They're still very much in negotiations as to his severance. Because he knows he's cooked too. He's finished. There's nothing. There are no prospects left for either Andrew or Sarah. They're done, right? They're finished. So he wants to get, in return for leaving Royal Lodge, he wants to get 2 properties: Frogmore Cottage and Adelaide Cottage. Now, Frogmore Cottage, I imagine, is the same one that Harry and Meghan had, right? Now, that's not to be confused with Frogmore House, which is something much grander. I don't think that's the one he wants, although you never know with him. It could be. So yeah, I'm showing you this this is William all over, right? You know that this is bullying. This is why people call him bullying, because this is how he handles things. This is the way he handles things. He handles things by threatening people. He loses his temper. When he doesn't get what he wants, he goes nuclear. Right? And okay, so I think Charles must have spoken to him, right? Because not long after they claim that he backed off of them, right? not long after, there was a report that came out that said, he's backing off, and because William is so impetuous, he does not think before he does things, right? And he doesn't realize that actions like this is going to antagonize his buddy. Here they are right here. He's going to antagonize his buddy. And they might end up spilling the beans. Frogmore Cottage was a dilapidated former facility to house Frogmore estate servants, wasn't it? Yeah, and can you imagine? Isn't that funny that that's what they decided to give to Harry and Meghan? The servants' quarters. The servants' quarters is what they decided that, was appropriate for them. And what happened? They ended up fixing it up, right? Meghan ended up spending her own money to renovate it. And did she ever get her money back from that? I don't think she did. I think they even had to pay money on top of the renovation because they claimed that, oh, you renovated it, you ruined it, when it was a complete mess before they did anything to it. These people have a lot of karma coming to them. That's all I have to say. Anyway, thank you, folks. It's been long. It's been longer than I expected it to be. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. And even if it was, you know what? Deal with it. Okay. This is a live stream of consciousness. This is not a tightly edited video. If you want to see a tightly edited video, just go into my video library and you can see all the tightly edited videos I've done. All right. This is a freaking live stream. So if I go off on a tangent and, do a lot of ums and ahs and stuff, that's because this is a live stream. All right. So I'm going to try to do this maybe in a couple of nights or so. And thank you all for showing up. Thank you so much, kitty cats. You are the best. You're the best. And let me know, go ahead, guys, and you can give me your feedback and, in the recording. And if those of you who haven't had a chance to say something, I know it's a subscriber only chat, but I know a lot of you want to say something. So you'll have a chance to do that when you see the recording. So cheerio. And, tell me I have to go and find this thing now. I will catch you all. Oh, where is it? I will catch you all in the next one. All right.